It's race day. Welcome, race fans, to a showcase of driving perfection. My name's Webbo, and let's get down trackside. Hold on tight, we're gonna go for it. Boom, that's how it's done. Whoa, easy. Surely not all the way around the outside. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. This is a roller coaster of emotions. The drivers are pushing their machines to the limit and beyond. Whoa, it doesn't get any better than that. We wait for the lights, the revs build and so does the excitement. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go! Okay, driver, it's hammer time. This driver is an artist and the racetrack is their canvas. Did you see that? Did you see that? Wow! Let's watch it again. Ooh, hopefully they'll get away with that one. What a great start, and it looks like we can build on this now and really make a good race of it. There's the fastest lap, folks. No mercy on the menu today. Yeah, sideways is rarely ever faster, but you do get style points. And we roll the safety car dice. Leave them alone. They know what they're doing. Oh no, someone's gone bowling into turn one. What a shocker. Moving left, jinking right, keep them guessing. Lawn mowing as a side gig. And we go down the inside, Danny Rick style. We're on the edge of our seats here, folks. The racers are pushing their limits, risking it all for that coveted first place position and the all-important win. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The two cars ahead are fighting with each other. It's slowing them down. And through we go! That driver is a complete and total. A word has not been invented to describe how complete and total they are. But they are one, and a complete and total one at that. And it all comes down to this, the final lap. If you smell what this driver is cooking. This seems like as good a time as any to ask if you've subscribed yet. There's your Grand Slam, pole, fastest lap, and the win! Welcome, race fans, to the next race in the GTD World Challenge Season 4.1, and welcome to Saint Croix. This is round 5 of the championship. We are in France for the all-important second half of our very prestigious series here. We just looked through the standings there on screen just a few moments ago. I won't bore you with them by reading them all out to you, but you can skip back if necessary. We're ready for qualifying. It's been listed as 1 minute. I think that might need to change unless they've very much extended the additional time allowed. We'll see how they go, but yes, we find ourselves heading on into a very important stage of the championship. As I've mentioned before, we find Arcane leading us with a fantastic run of results ahead of dollars per win and JDA, or Jim as you may know him, all ahead of that promotion line. But it looks like the title may well be between those three drivers, but there'll be a lot to fight over in the remainder, with our team's combined teams championship also taking it. Zen is heartbroken with his previous race result. Don't like to give spoilers out, Zen, because sometimes people don't tune in to both races concurrently. Sometimes they watch it back, but yeah, that was hard fought, and unfortunately he came off the worst after a fantastic run there from the drivers. I'm just going to double check what we've got down. It has been changed to 10 minutes, so that is a relief. So I don't want to enter. Stop asking me to enter. So yes, we have the lobby set up correctly then for this qualifying period of. They've changed it again. Something wasn't quite right, obviously. So thankfully, they're just making sure everything is shipshape and perfect for us before we get underway, and keeping me on my toes as well, I'm sure. Let's wait then for the new cars, the new liveries for this round of the championship. And do say hello if you're watching with us live, and a big thank you to everyone for your support on the channel in any way you can. If that's a like or a subscription, maybe you leave a playlist running to help my watch time stats, one way or the other. I'm very grateful for everything that everybody does for me here. Aussie has decided to come out of the pits for Team Cannonball, new livery, anticipating there being accidents today, it seems. But Aussie has decided to come out and be the first one out in qualifying. He probably knows that the first one out in qualifying tends to get the benefit of the track time, of the screen time, at least for their run here. There is time to sneak into 2 laps, but only just. You really have to get on with it within the 10 minutes here before the checkered flag falls on our session. Our race times, lap times are running around and about the 3-minute 10 mark. Hopefully much quicker than that in qualifying by a few seconds. Hi to sorry, I've done it again. Is it Iana or Lena? I think it's Lena. Tell me they haven't reset the lobby for a 15th time today. I think they actually have. Here we go. Qualifying is underway, I want to say. Yes, okay. Let's please get going and start this. Dirksey comes out then, so we won't be able to watch Aussie. And it's not like these laps aren't incredibly long and it just adds to our time or anything, is it? Anyway, we do our best here. Big hello then to everybody who is going to take part in today's race, either on track or in the chat, of course. Where's our safety car driver today? It's going to be Glovas here in the safety car. Give him a little moment in the sun, shall we? As he's just raced a long old race in the GTD Pro series as well. Has almost as hard a day of it as I do. Yeah. But no, he'll be, I'm sure, looking forward to a slightly easier run of it. We had quite an early safety car. I'm not giving anything away here for the GTD Pro series, but we had a fairly early safety car in lap 5, which meant we had quite a large proportion of the race to work out strategies. But this is Dirksey then, just running through, trying to set himself a good time and get some space on the track. As I say, the first batch of drivers who've come out will have 2 opportunities within the 10 minutes
to set their lap, but they really have to hurry up and not be too long about finding that that important space and run. So if you want 2 chances at a lap, you have to be very quick out of the pit lane. The Chameleon team just behind Dirksy here, in a similar colour, but in the gold of the safety car. They're hoping to cause complete confusion among the drivers in their mirrors as they see a safety car coming up behind them. I don't think it's going to work, but it's a very nice try here from the Chameleons as we run the special audible colour scheme for the Hyundai Team Amazon riders. I trust all is well with the stream today. Do let me know if there's any problems with sound balance or with graphics. Hopefully it should be fine. All my outputs are reading correct. It's just my alternate screen is really struggling to watch the race. It looks very janky, so give me a thumbs up if everything looks okay. Zen saying Clubhouse gets to be a safety car twice in a day. A pretend safety car followed by a safety car. Yeah, that's a good observation from Zen. And Dirksy is about to enter the final sector, which is just 2 corners and a couple of decent length straights. Arcane has got very close to Dirksy here, which won't help him on his run. He'll have to slow before the final corner that is closing in now. Yeah, he has slowed right down, so we'll ride on board with Dirksy as we try to set a good first reference time. Of course, the track will evolve during the hour, so we'll help anyone who is the last one to cross the line. But you need a good. You need to be crossing the line at 6 minutes 52 or so in order to get that second lap to count. So we shall see how the drivers manage that particular section of this one. Rounding towards the double left-hander here as we finish out sector 1 of Dirksy. You can stretch the track in certain parts of this circuit. There's some fairly high grippy dry grass on the outside, but on many parts there are some very close Armco barriers on these mostly road surface. This is a racetrack surface at the moment, but we will head on to the public roads, especially across the bridge section. Difficult to be able to tell just how good this lap is. I have yet to memorise all 4 mini sector times for a hot lap here around the circuit. Hyundai is having a bit clunky in its gear changes. Got a high-pitched engine note as well. Got the longest straight of the circuit then to come here. A lot of gradient change as we go over rises and down into falls. Got a big stop coming up. This is an important one. I see many overtaking manoeuvres in through here. Overtaking tended to be connected to prior mistakes from other drivers. The final turn and turn 1 are good opportunities for those overtakes, and the bridge looms large as we have a 90-degree left to go onto those public roads and avoid the barrier on the outside here. You've got to get the car balanced and squared away before approaching that corner, because it really can cost you a lot of lap time and damage as you come through. And we're looking for braking zone down into the next corner. It must be said though that the soft tyres will not run for 2 hot laps, so you'll have to commit to a back-to-back lap on the medium tyres if you want to. Good second apex there through the long right-hander for Dirksy, and heading towards that final sector now. There's a touch of understeer as we've used the best of the tyres, and then it goes straight into snap throttle oversteer on the exit, costing him some time. We've got Arcane just behind him, who may well be onto a better run here as he closes out the lap. Let's see with Dirksy as he runs out of the final corner. He will get the fastest lap initially, and then we'll have to go through and see how the rest of the drivers do. 307 for Dirksy, beaten immediately by Arcane, a 306. Astonishing goes third. Here comes Croix on the important run now in towards that final corner. It's very wide open. It's a big question mark about when to hit the apex and how soon you can get on the power. Arcane will cross the line now, and these drivers might get that next lap in. Maxwell comes back to the running and gets into 4th place ahead of Croix. Aussie then unable, I think, to run a second lap. He will cross the line in 6th position only. But then next up comes Jim. We've got pit stops coming in just for the drivers who don't want to spend time on the track. Here is Sully heading towards, this is his only shot here at completing a lap, I believe, in the Leo colour scheme for the Karate Tortoises, as he runs on out of the final corner. Sully in 8th. Where will he go? Into 5th place. So that deposes the other drivers down. Jim is all the way down in 10th position at this stage. Back to the front though, and Arcane has decided to pitch it sideways. I think it's the soft tyres that have gone. Let's go back to him and see if we can see any information on screen. It was the soft tyres that have given up, and Dirksy's gone out for a second set just to get some practice in here on these tyres. I don't think he'll do it. He obviously cut back into the pit lane and went through to go through this next hot lap. Arcane didn't go for another set of soft tyres, so we'll see if anybody fancies it. Looks like Dirksy fancies trying to run this and getting to the start-finish line before the checkered flag falls, and if he does that, he has a shot at a final lap. Arcane, Mr. Fish Odour, Mr. Fish in P2, running there with a black nose. We don't know quite how the car looks until we get into the next race. That look like the Ford GT though. Mr. Fish has replaced TDs for the remainder of the season, as you'll see in the chat earlier on. Timid Umbrian just letting us know that, who I think is TDs, but he's talking about TDs in the third person for me as Dirksy runs through. And Maxwell is in for Percival as well. So Maxwell back in a permanent seat here in GTD. That might be too little too late though to try and feature in the promotion line, but runs through then. Here comes Dirksy. He's trying to get to the end of this lap before the checkered flag, but I think that the additional timer limit will be reached, so I don't think he'll do it. He's going to give it his level best, no doubt. New all yellow audible colour scheme here for Team Amazon. I wonder if they'll be able to do a different business unit of Amazon for the remainder of the season. Zen can give me a bit of intel actually. What were the green and blue noses about today? Was it just because, or is there some Amazon link I'm unfamiliar with? Closing out this outlap then goes Dirksy, and he has got time, at least with the checkered flag having yet to fall. So we'll see if Dirksy can improve here and whether the time extension will allow him through. Normally the Amazon drivers go for some theme around the Amazon company. It looked today like they were just choosing a new front colour with a black fade and starry sky, unless it was Blue Origin for one of them. Nothing special, says Zen. Just some new colour choices. Right, okay, fantastic. Thank you for the info. I was hoping I hadn't missed some sort of reference that I ought to have got. Hopefully. This is then obviously the final lap for Dirksy. It's the only hot lap happening at the moment, thanks to being the first out of the pit lane, which he did twice. Should be able to finish 3 extra minutes, says Zen. But with those, yes, in fact, you're probably onto something. This is a personal best then for him to this point. So an additional 3 minutes. The lap should be 3 minutes, sub 3 minute 10, and I think he crossed the line at 9:47. So it's going to be mightily close. He's got to navigate drivers who are just stranded and waiting for this qualifying session to be over. I imagine there was a huge groan went around the voice channel for the race today when they realised Dirksy was going to make them all wait an additional 3 minutes after doing this. We'll see if Dirksey can recover into the next sector. If not, there is little point keeping the entire field and audience waiting to finish it out. All the way down to second gear then. The next sector update is across the bridge, at the middle of the bridge we're approaching now. He's also got Prime Video on his helmet as Dirksey, so he's gone all in on the corporate shill here for Amazon. It's across the line then. How is this one looking? It's 0.4, nearly half a second slower. Yeah, Zen saying he was unhappy because of the slip, so he's gone for another one. So he should regain some time, thanks, of course, to that penultimate corner throttle oversteer moment. The previous lap, will it be 0.5 of a second? It's possible. It's a relatively long straight afterwards, so that recovery will have cost him as if he'd had some sort of penalty and cost him momentum. Dirksey bidding for the front row here, if he can, and he's gained in that penultimate sector. Let's see if we can nail the throttle smoother. We can. So we're on for a potential front row here. I'm not sure Mr. Arcane's time is in range. Let's see what Dirksey can do though, as he comes out of the final corner and finishes out the lap, does he? He will make it, and it is a better time, but he's just 0.2 of a second away from the front row, so all of that was unfortunately for nothing. It's Arcane who will be our pole sitter and hopefully not touching grass when we come to the start of the race. Here are your confirmed positions. Arcane looking very quick in comparison to the other drivers. Look, a 3:06 compared to a 3:07, 0.9 of a second. Arcane's advantage in qualifying. Let's hope that it's not quite so large in the race. The Mr. Fish joins us in P2 for Team America, with Dirksey in third, Astonishing in fourth, Bongett, the Canadian, in fifth position, with Maxwell, our Thai driver, in sixth, Sully in seventh, and Kuroskai in eighth. Next up we have Jim and our Saito. Aussie's in 11th, Thrasher starts 12th, and Glovas will be our safety car, as Floody is cheering on teammate Mr. Fish today with a good result there for Team America in this series. So we're getting ready then for the race. 1 hour around Saint-Croix configuration, long track, long circuit. I'm waiting to see if Glovas then, T-Deeds or Floody will know the safety car lap here, that it will be being announced to the drivers momentarily. I'll see if did that actually happen. Has that happened in chat? Nope. Okay. So it hasn't happened, hasn't arrived in chat just yet. Weather radar all looking good for everybody. No weather on the horizon for the race, and we're getting ready then. The countdown has begun for the race, and hopefully we can get your predictions in. Zen saying lap 12? Seriously? Lap 12? Wow, that is late for the race, so there'll be plenty of racing to happen before, if it is indeed lap 12 that we go racing for. Let's get ready then for the race, as Arcane will lead them away in the Supra. He's got his teammate on row 2, excuse me, but Arcane will have the inside line. The 5 lights are on, and it's dropped the clutch, and go, go, go. Some good starting pace there from the Michelangelo Karate Tortoise as he heads on up towards the fight for 5th and 6th position. It's Astonishing in that third place, getting the squeeze in the Supra, and Mr. Fish getting a welcome party here and being spun all the way round, Mr. Fish, and falling way down in the order. Let's try and see that particular incident once again from his perspective, as he goes wide around the outside, cuts to the inside, and then just the cars all coming together, and he goes full four-wheel drift, but unfortunately ends up facing completely the wrong direction, picks up rear wing damage as well. That is heartbreaking for Mr. Fish on his beginnings here in the run for being a permanent driver here in GTD. Arcane leads Dirksey, leads Bongett for the top 3 into the start of this race. It will be a long first part of the race then, prior to the safety car period for Mr. Fish, who's going to struggle then before he gets out to try and get that damage repair. This is just on a temporary setting. Jim is in 4th, 14 Cannonball. Astonishing, with not the best start in the world, but down into 5th position. As Bongit in the Trolls livery, Team Universal, Aston Martin is in P3, and then they go side by side to Astonishing and Jim. Astonishing with the inside line, Jim sweeping around the outside. What a start from Jim, who started way down the order. A fantastic run, and runs on around the outside now. Jim versus Astonishing, still going side by side down the long straight. Looks like Jim will have the advantage into the next corner, but it's Astonishing got the exit out the prior corner in that Supra, going nicely as well. And similar to what we saw in the GTD Pro, the drivers all agreeing to that the hard tyre is the best starting tyre to be on, and a full tank of fuel. Maxwell has gone for a black and white with orange trim. Team Amazon livery for his Hyundai, and then Croix is all around the back of Maxwell. Couldn't make the most of that great first run, as Sully will be getting very close and personal to the barrier on the way through the next corner. Let's have a look at that again from Sully's perspective, and we'll try and rejoin this battle as they run in the next one. This is Sully on the outside. It's really marginal to the limit there, but managed to avoid disaster. Looks like they've had a little bit further contact on the way through the next couple corners. Alsaito hanging on ahead of Sully and Aussie for 8th, 9th and 10th, with Thrasher behind them in the Pike Fitness Nissan GTR. Mr. Fish in 12th place and the final position, thankfully, has the rest of the runners in order. And we have 3 safety cars on the circuit. We have 1 on his in-lap, and we have 2 Team Chameleons hiding in plain sight here. Arcane leading the way, leading the championship as well, pushing very hard indeed at this early stage. Dirksey doing his level best to keep Arcane honest, but that gap is a frightening amount, 1.8 seconds after a single lap of racing. Bongit is 3rd. We have Astonishing in 4th. Next up, Jim down in 5th position at this stage, but having moved forward tremendously on his first lap there in that beautiful sounding Audi R8, with the resonance coming off the muffler at the back, causing feedback through our speakers and microphones. It is a gorgeous sounding car, the Audi R8. We've got our Saito in 7th there, and then we've got the Karate tortoises together. Kuroskai just ahead of teammate Sully, wearing the team leader bandana colour scheme anyway. Whether that translates to actual team leadership or not, I won't speculate at this stage. But these 2 Honda NSXs are obviously equally matched. They'll be sharing setups, try and extract the best for the team out of this run, but really needing to improve their results to try and live up to their GTD Pro teammates. This is Mr. Fish already closing in. He's got some great pace, hasn't he? Closing in, and I know Mr. Fish was an ex-GT Sunday Cup driver. I can't remember the official name of the GT Sunday Cup. I do apologise. GT Sport, that's the one. That's why it always confused me. Aussie in 10th, Mr. Fish in 11th, Thrasher down to 12th now and last. As Glovas has gone into the pits off the soft tyres. The safety car putting soft tyres on was a strong choice there, wasn't it? And Mr. Fish then in the tuxedo livery here for Team America. What's that about, I wonder? Why do we need a tux for Team America? Is that just another just because situation? Got a full bow tie on the roof as well. Going full on penguin suit here as Aussie regains that 10th position. But Mr. Fish, with his certainly will be feeling a little bit aggrieved about the treatment he received at the start. Down the inside of Thrasher, of Aussie, excuse me, through onto the bridge section. And that Ford GT will get to stretch its legs here. Has a little bit of damage on the car, but it looks to be cosmetic now at this stage. And Aussie doing enough to hold off Mr. Fish. You feel like it's a matter of time there with the pace he's got at this stage. Cannot believe I like that car so much. But the Tux Ford GT, I'm sure I've said I like it so much, Larry. But there you go. Arcade leads us by 2 seconds. Has dialed back the pace a tad from the start of the race, from the first mega lap. Then we've got Bongit kicking out some dirt across the circuit in front of Astonishing. A nice close battle going on here for Astonishing and Bongit. Here he is then on board as we try to get tucked neatly in, and everybody's gone on for those hard tyres. I'd love to get confirmation that it is indeed lap 12 for the safety car. We'll be waiting a long time, but we will have a really cool sprint at the end if that's the case. We should be expecting 18 or 19 laps today for the drivers, depending on where they finish and when they cross the line, of course. It could be as few as 17 if we have incidents that extend the field. I imagine lapped cars will have the right to overtake the safety car. If they do, get lapped later on. But we're not really making any headway here on board with Astonishing. So hopefully we will find a nice close battle for you momentarily, as Jim is in 5th place. Jim's saying it's Jim's 2 kids fighting in front of him. I don't know what to believe of when Larry says stuff, when Larry or Gareth says stuff to me. I don't know whether it's true or false. So we will have to see. Jim in 5th. Maxwell returning to us in a full-time seat, as is Mr. Fish. They've both gone black and white today on their return. What a dive bomb from our Saito that was, down the inside. Maxwell won't enjoy that one, but our Saito will definitely appreciate this one. Here he comes, look. Was that partly Maxwell missing the apex slightly? I'm not sure, but this is quite the dive bomb down to the inside. Maxwell didn't see him coming, turned into the corner, and there he was, already in position. So that was our Saito uncompromising into P6 and moving forward, and hopefully not too much of a rivalry happening there. But it's Saito ahead of Maxwell then, making a great overtake. Certainly alongside at the apex from my 2 looks at it so far anyway. Maxwell is suffering with throttle oversteer on the hard tyres in the Hyundai. He'll be unfamiliar with the car, of course, having just got the nod for his seat. As Larry's saying, go Saito, get angry. That is Kuros Kai then. Larry cheering on drivers who aren't in his team at this stage. He should be cheering on Kai and Sully, unless there've been discussions in the background that I'm not privy to. You can tell me actually, guys, do you just have race team radios, or do you share a channel for the whole driver lineup so that you can listen into race control? That's interesting to me anyway. What I can't understand, and we'll get into this during the safety car period, but the zip fastener at the top of the tuxedo pattern on the car. I do need a little bit of explanation. Surely it should be below the waist. Anyway, unless we're wearing a zip-up hood on the top of it as well. But as Gareth says, he's offended. As former Mr. Olympia, he never makes anything up. This is Mr. Fish back on the charge once again, side by side with Sully. This might provoke another comment from Gareth at this stage in chat, as Mr. Fish gets the nod ahead of one of the karate tortoises. And that isn't going to help Sully earn the love of Gareth here, it seems, either. Ford GT moving ahead of the NSX. Ford GT is a bit of a beast here to handle, as Mr. Fish just demonstrates the difficulty there with the oversteer. Sully sweeps around the outside. This becomes the inside for the next corner. Has he been able to hold on? I'll tell you what, those buttons on the tuxedo being the PlayStation symbols, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart, I've got to say. I'm going to keep loving it as long as Gareth keeps telling me how much he hates it, I think. But Kuros Kai in 8th, Mr. Fish in 9th, and Sully is in 10th position, and that seems to have settled itself now as we get very, very deep inside the foliage there with our camera work as we try and find Thrasher on circuit for the Pike Fitness. Now in GTD Pro, the Pike Fitness liveries were made special for this race, not so much at this stage. Timid Umbrian saying, I can't explain my replacement's livery. So yes, he's just trying. Can't really get to grips with it at all. I haven't had any indication of what it's about. Aussie's in 12th position as Croix has the longest safety car wait, I think, on record so far. Back in the lead of the race, Arcane 3.8 seconds here in the Supra, and trying to run this stint as long as he can, of course, towards the. Trying to stop this race, I think, but for many this may well end up being a 3-stop race. So Dirksey in the Amazon Audible liveried Hyundai is looking good out there in 2nd position. Couldn't quite get that 2nd place in qualifying, even though he had 2 stabs at it, but he's got that 2nd place on the track, and that's where it really matters. Bongit versus Astonishing looks like the battle to be watching here. That is quite a statement colour scheme from Team Universal today. Not familiar with the Trolls movie itself, but there you go. Apparently Huge Jar told Mr. Fish when he joined that with Timid gone they should do a tuxedo livery, but just to annoy Timid. Is that the reference? Timid is clearly a fan of casual dress, casual attire. And here is Bongit then, Canadian racer amongst a great deal of American drivers. And Canada not yet part of America, so I will continue to distinguish the two. And that's as close as I will skate towards politics here on a deviant stream. Bongit in P4. 0.8 of a second away from Astonishing's P3. It looks quick out there. And mind you, it always does next to static cameras. That's Bongit then running just 0.1 of a second away from his best through Sector 1. Jim is in something of a familiar position here, not quite knocking on the door of the podium, but within still within the shout. Arsaito in the 2nd Troll livery. That's Trolls the movie, not Troll the pejorative term for people who like to pick fights on the internet. And the black and white liveries have closed in one another. Mr. Fish has tremendous pace in this GTD race, and what would have been had it not been for that early spin there that he was kind of forced into, though he was on the outside. But here he comes then in the Ford GT, making a nuisance of himself in the mirrors of Maxwell, the two returnees, or at least new permanent placements. Some fantastic camera angles there as they come through the corner. Maxwell getting a real wiggle on through the corner. Mr. Fish, obviously with more pace at this stage, same tyres. Mr. Fish really is unlocking some tremendous pace in the low slung Ford GT as we go fully drifting on the curb. We'll probably think twice about doing that again. Let's ride with him, shall we? Get a consistent camera going while they're battling. Good gap behind at this stage. Not really an overtaking opportunity coming up here. Maxwell cutting straight across the nose of Mr. Fish. And again, looking for that inside line. Oh, Mr. Fish all over the shop, trying to make the overtake. Can he sneak in towards the apex? Went in with a huge amount of overspeed. Once again, then they'll run side by side. This looks like Mr. Fish's corner coming up, though. In towards the penultimate corner they go. Mr. Fish, sorry, not the penultimate corner, the corner before the bridge they go, and through they go into the next one. Jim's been complaining all week about his brake pedal. He told me no less than 18 times that he's done complaining about, only to tell me the next morning. He's going to love this next time. Kirk Morris says, sweet baby Jesus. What's that in reference to? Is it the livery? Kirk, please elaborate. Don't just drop the mic and refuse to elaborate on that one. That's what I want to know. Kuroskai and Sully continue to fight here as the Karate Tortoises have want to do here in GTD. Arcane and Dirksey pit for the first time at the end of lap 5 of the hard tyre. Astonishing, just dummying to the pit lane. Oh, that's a big one for Arcane and Dirksey, only getting 5 laps out of the hard tyre, and it's the fuel limit that the drivers reach. But clearly pushing very hard. Second, is that? Well, no, I was going to say a second set of softs going on the car, but I would imagine most drivers will go for the six laps on the fuel if they can. Maybe fewer on the if they can't for obvious reasons with the tyres if they're on mediums. But here, still on the hard tyres, are Jim and Arcane on a fresh set of mediums now, back out of the pits and out into 4th position. Full tank of fuel for him. It's a Step Brothers reference. Okay, cool. All right. Pretty sure they mentioned Sweet Baby Jesus in Talladega Nights as well, didn't they? Didn't they pray to Sweet Baby Jesus at one point? Ricky Bobby. I don't know Step Brothers very well, but I do know Talladega Nights. Saito ahead of Maxwell, ahead of Mr. Fish, who's picked up a pit lane infringement penalty. Mr. Fish certainly not making life easy for himself here with that first lap spin, and then coming out of the pits and adding 3 seconds to his off-throttle penalty, then coming through. They've won over the Karate Tortoises. Won me over, go Karate Tortoises, says Gareth there. As Sully is in P9. That was quite easily won over, I'll have to say, for them. So this is Mr. Fish then having to make the overtake past Maxwell for the second time today. Lost out in the pit lane in the in lap. Mr. Fish is wild, way out on the grass, kicking out the dirt, making an overtake when he doesn't really need to. But I suppose every position and moment gained on track is a moment less he has to gain later. But wow, he is I think the red mist has absolutely descended, and when you've got quite a fun livery on the car, it's hard to be taken seriously here. But I think determined to get a top half finish out of this race, perhaps needing to dial back the aggression for his tyre longevity and his pit stopping prowess sake, if nothing else. Hasn't been in contact with other drivers, but he's certainly looking very wild here. P7, Mr. Fish. Saito in P6. Astonishing and Bongit yet to hit the pit lane. Let's just see where they are. Still close to one another as they round out and finish out sector 4 of this 6th lap. Out of fuel. Astonishing is going to hit the fuel limiter, I believe. Let's ride with Bongit. This happened to Berman earlier on. There it is. The fuel limit has been reached by Astonishing. Couldn't get 6 laps on full ball racing, so he's going to lose a lot of time as a result of this one. It will cost him seconds. This run down the towards the final corner in towards the pit lane. And there he is at full speed. Jim is going to cut across him and almost make contact. That might cost Jim a penalty on the way in for crossing the white line. But he was kind of forced into it. But we have to live with the automatic game penalties. There's no way of getting around those. If you want drivers to control the car heading into the pit lane, and I'm sure we all do, then certainly it's going to be a big deal here. Just asking for a little bit of reassurance there on the frame rate and graphic quality. I seem to be doing okay from all the measures I can give, but my second device is showing very poorly because it's on Wi-Fi, and I'm stealing all the internet to upload at 60 FPS. So let me know if your quality and smoothness and sound are all good. I really appreciate it. Purple sector for Dirksey. I think Arcane is probably going to try and do the same sort of thing, but car's full of fuel here. The Supra looking more like the safety car than the Genesis, thanks to that horrible stripe down the centre line of the hood. Purple sector for Arcane, and is Dirksey going to trade with him? Yes, indeed he is. So Dirksey on a hotter lap than Arcane, who's already pushing very hard here. But they have slightly hampered themselves here, stopping 1 lap earlier. But better that than running out of fuel on the way into the pit lane. doing the job so far, both in the championship and this race in particular. Thanks, Bummy, for the note there. Good to see. Dirksey then, as we come towards the end of this one. Arcane has a purple sector, 2.259 clear. What about Dirksey? 0.408. This is brilliant. I love this. Quality could be a touch higher, you say. Okay. Right. Let's see what I can do. So Arcane, P1 at the moment, and trading these fastest sectors for with Dirksey in P2. Dirksey catching slightly as a result through this lap. Onto the bridge they go. About to close out this next sector. Sector 3. And it's slower for Arcane than he's been before. Will Dirksey hold on to that purple? He is. He's going very quickly indeed, is Dirksey. So that's fantastic to see. New tyres. No real thought to making them last. It's just get the medium tyre stint, go as fast as you possibly can while on the fastest tyre of the required 2. Let's see if you can pick up the fastest lap while you're doing it. Did Jim in fact get that penalty? Good question. Good question. I just want to see what Dirks is doing. 1.1 seconds at the moment. Yes, Jim did in fact get the 3-second penalty. That is highly unfair, but nothing anybody can do about it, unfortunately. Thanks to Timid for asking the question. Good to ask that one. And you'll have to pay that penalty on the section of track Dirksey's just been through. So here comes Dirksey then, hoping to take the new fastest lap of the race away from Arcane. And there it is, 1.2 seconds to a 3:07.7. I'm not quite sure the leaders are running at the pace to extend the race out to a 19th lap. I think they might be running at an 18 lap total pace here, but I'm just speculating. I don't know for sure. 36 minutes remain on the clock, so we'll be marginal, but of course we've got the safety car laps still to come later on. He's going quick again, is Dirksey. Can't watch him all day. We've given him an awful lot of time. Was he pushed over the line, says Gareth? No, he tried to enter the pits behind Astonishing, who'd run out of fuel. Astonishing's car blocking the pit lane, and he favoured an overtake on the way in rather than waiting for Astonishing to go in. It may turn out to be a poor decision, but somehow Astonishing has got out ahead thanks to, I think, shorter fueling. No, I'm surprised that Astonishing's pit stop was so much shorter than Jim as to keep track position ahead of him. It's crazy. I don't know. I think the safety car sticker application is not quite to scale on the Supra. It does look a little bit more suited to the Mercedes. I think they've probably gone a bit oversized on the hood there, possibly. Gareth saying, what a silly sausage is Jim. Well, there is silliness to be had all over the place. If you passed on the right, no penalty. Oh, right, okay, because there are 2 white lines, left and right of the pit lane entry. So I'd be nervous that I'd pick up a penalty if I crossed either of them. But you know better than I do, Gareth, when you're not lying to me. That is. Here is Jim there, chasing down Astonishing, and Jim having some good speed in that Audi. It doesn't just sound quick and good, it is quick and good. Oh, really? Jim served the penalty already? Okay, fair dues. All right, yeah, of course it's gone off the cart. It must be a lot earlier in the lap than I was expecting. Penalty markers. There it is. So Jim still has potentially 4th place in sight here with Astonishing. Our Saito is in 6th place in the Trolls livery. Then comes Maxwell. I haven't seen the Flying Fish, who's down in 10th place at this stage. Has he been off circuit perhaps and struggled? He's on the medium tyres. What's gone on with the pace of Mr. Fish here? Has been absolutely lightning so far today. So I'm wondering if Mr. Fish has had a problem. Let's just check the replay buffer, make sure we haven't missed something immediate. No. Afraid not, no. Still in 10th place, so strange one there from Mr. Fish, but he was looking pretty wild, and I imagine pretty angry. Okay, here is a further confusion for you for the livery. It appears to be sponsored by Levi, who probably, as far as I know, don't make tuxedos, and are somewhat opposite in sartorial style or requirements. Sully's in 11th, we've got Thrasher in 12th position, and Glovass with the longest wait I think we have ever had for the safety car to come out is due out. My latest information is lap 12, so we have 33 minutes remaining on the clock as the drivers have gone through lap 9, the leaders at least, so we could well go to lap 18 to lap 19, but of course we have a slow one under the safety car conditions. Dirksey is doing a fantastic job here on the medium tyres versus Arcane, who is perhaps trying to make this stint last a little bit longer, but Dirksey's closing in. I've not heard of a Canadian tuxedo. Is that a t-shirt and jeans, but the t-shirt looks like a tux? No, I haven't heard of it, but I'm trying to make a guess now. Yeah, who knows? You have to let me know about that one. But again, I have no idea, Gareth, if you're just having me on again. 2.2 seconds the gap now, Arcane to Dirksey. It did go underneath 2 seconds for a short spell there. Still some life left in these tyres. Maybe another hot lap on board with Dirksey. Maybe he'll go for a second set of mediums, but I imagine the drivers would have wanted to get to the safety car lap where they can pit under the safety car. Denim jeans, denim jacket. Got it. Okay. Right. Well, there's definitely a tuxedo jacket, or as we would call it, dinner jacket here in the UK. So these two, Dirksey picking up the pace once again. Double denim, says then. Good. Okay. So it's not just Gareth lying to me. But Dirksey 1.4 seconds away from Arcane. Business in front, party in the back is a mullet, no? It's from Caitlin. Welcome to the stream, Caitlin. Or at least to the live chat anyway. I thought that's reference to a mullet, no? A zipper on the back of his car, yeah, indeed. Again, I'm very confused now. The more I look at it, the more confusion I am getting. So that's just me. Jim, unable really to pressurise Astonishing at this point in the Audi. We've got our Saito in 6th place, Maxwell. Pretty settled in that 7th, as he was in the previous season. Kind of not in the top group, not in the rear group. As Kuros, yeah, Gareth just catching up to the chat there. As Mr. Fish rubs the barrier on the way through. There's been easy position pickup here as he'll overtake Kuros Kai. As a mullet connoisseur myself, I can confirm, says Gareth. What got me on the podcast, I haven't actually watched all of yet, Gareth, was the splendid beard that I hadn't known was present. So I was so busy looking at the beard, I didn't look at the mullet. But a mullet is a very Aussie thing, has to be said. Although usually sported with a porn star moustache, as far as I know. Anyway, into the pits comes Aussie. A little bit off cycle here, but perhaps fearing that he wouldn't make us another lap clean on the fuel. So headed in towards pit road. Thrasher at the back of the grid, but can still see Sully, and we'll gain a little bit of time there with Sully's penalty. This is Aussie receiving the fuel needed to go racing. We still wait for the safety car. Arcane's lead now 1.5 seconds ahead of Dirksey. I suppose I should give you guys the benefit of the doubt, because I know the stream is slightly delayed, about 5 or 6 seconds. So I shouldn't expect immediate chat back. We've passed the halfway point in terms of time here. And Dirksey taking the mustard yellow Hyundai, audible Amazon entry. And closing in nicely and pressurising Arcane here. Arcane with a lot more fuel on the car though. So here is Arcane. I think headed, this is Dirksey on his in-lap essentially. So running lighter on fuel. Closing right in on the back. Doesn't really want to cost himself time here on this, what will be his in-lap. So he's going to pit at full racing speed with everybody else, hopefully trying to make it through to the 11th lap before pitting prior to the safety car. But Dirksey has no option here. Absolutely must pit now. So coming through, that's the penultimate corner as Arcane shaves the stickers off the right-hand side of the car. It doesn't matter for the Chameleons. They repaint those cars every race. The graphic artist might be a bit concerned, but Dirksey takes the lead for what will be a brief moment, I imagine, as he peels then into the pit lane, gets to the right of that white line safely. Arcane going round for another one. And let's see who decides to pit on this lap, or at least has to pit on this lap. I imagine that Aston Martin is going to make it all the way round. He does certainly going to vote that way. As Astonishing on the mediums will extend to the optimal position, but that might mean that that Dirksey can regain positions while other drivers are pitting, even though they will pit at full racing pace, I suppose, because they won't pick up the safety car till after turn 1. This is Astonishing then leading Jim ahead. That is Dirksey coming out. Will he stay out in 5th position? I think he might just there. So our Saito pits. So does Maxwell. Mr. Fish on recovery number 3, I think, of the race. As Timid says, whoever doesn't pit now will have to pit during the safety car, but that is allowed today because of the length of the lap here. We're only having a single single safety car lap. Sully going past the pit lane. So Sully managing to extend here. Thrasher and Ollie. Ozzy's already pitted. So back towards the front of the grid then, as Arcane's lead over Bongit, as it is now, is 9 seconds. Bongit on his in-lap. So the two of them will be pitting at the end of this one. And it's going to be interesting whether Dirksey can pick up those positions back again. None of these guys making 6 laps, says Gareth. Yeah. How much fuel saving were you doing to make it go 6 laps? Is it a difference between car manufacturer in GTD Pro and GTD? Or is it just driving style and fuel conservation? I'd love to know while we're live. That would be really helpful. Oh, Arcane pushing hard, leaving tyre marks in the grass there on the way through. A really nice view of the livery there prior to our safety car lap. And you can get your comments in as well about the liveries while we go. Could have made 6 laps with a quarter shift to fuel map 1. 1 quarter shift to fuel map 1. Surely you always stay in fuel map 1, no? Quarter shift. Are you talking about short shifting a little bit? Just going a second off the pace. Okay, interesting. Or are you saying 1 to 4 fuel map? Kirk's saying I did 7 in the Porsche in Sport on fuel map 2. Fuel map 2 is probably a reasonable shout, but all the advice I've had as I learn to drive longer races is never use the fuel maps. Do it all with driving style. In comes Arcane then into the pits. Kirk's saying with some short shifting. Quarter RPM shift, got you, understood. Okay. Says Gareth. So Bonga in. Astonishing will come in as well. We should have the safety car on his way out. He's managed to do it without penalty. So yeah, that's an achievement in itself. As Jim comes in, so Dirksey rounds the final corner will he get track position ahead of these drivers who are pitting with him? Is that outlap something special enough? He puts those hazards on because he knows it's the safety car lap, and he's going to go round. Do they run to the safety car, or do they stop fighting at turn 1? They stop fighting at turn 1. So Dirksey hasn't lost anything in his pursuit of Arcane. Gone for the medium tyres again though. Hasn't decided to go for a hard set here. Asking if we're ready for the Hungaroring. Gareth's saying absolutely not ready at all. Let's have a look at some liveries then as we go towards the safety car. Well, we've got the safety car here, and then spot the difference. The Supra safety car is for Team Chameleons, and just selfishly on the hood there, the Webbo sticker is visible on this livery rather than on the Genesis where it's invisible. And I believe this means it is a glove-ass livery. With the "if it's not fun, why do it" rear window sticker. This is the audible one that I've been enjoying so far. I like a matte yellow finish. That's very. I like the sort of slightly cartoony feel, sort of cell shading feel to some of the liveries that the Hyundai has been wearing this season. Very smart indeed. Very, very nice. Yeah, I enjoy that. I was thinking about doing a supercut of Webbo criticising liveries video. This is the Trolls one. One for the kids, of course. The Trolls movie from Team Universal on the Aston Martin. I think they've been nicely sympathetic to the lines of the Aston Martin. But I can't really say anything particularly about the movie. Don't know anything about it. I don't think it's for me, but there you go. A nice choice. There's your safety car. Now, we've gone for a full-on ambulance livery here for the Cannonball team. And I don't know if is Transcon, is that a branded ambulance rather than a public service ambulance? Because I know those exist in the States. Thank you for the Webbo sticker on there as well, by the way. Team Cannonball going for a full-on ambulance with the backwards text on the front as well, which is a lovely touch. Do like that. This is the equally smart livery then, looking for the Amazon Hyundai entry of Max. Well, I think he may have had a little bit of input on this one. He does like to make his liveries, I believe, and he's gone for a little Webbo Rusty's stickers on the back there as well. Thank you for that. Another troll, another troll, and no variants here. Who is dying from man flu? Oh, it's in an ambulance here in honor of Chaotica. Nice one. Okay, perfect. All right. This then is the contentious tuxedo, and not Tuxedo Cat, genuine Tuxedo Team America Ford GT, and it is denim jean rear and tuxedo front. So I do have sympathy for business in the front, party in the back. Although there are parties you go to a tuxedo in. So it's formal in the front, casual in the back. Yeah, that it kind of explains. I didn't see the navy blue sort of denim effect there. But sponsored by Levi's. The rear half of the car sponsored by Levi. The front half of the car ready for a black tie event. And I have to say, those little buttons with the PlayStation symbols, very nice touch. And the bow tie on the top as well. Like to see it. All I would say is that I would have, if you were going to have jeans at the back, I would have had the tuxedo facing the opposite way. And then you'd see perhaps the bow tie a little bit better. I've got to get through these now. Well, this is unchanged from before, the Karate tortoises. So we need some special details on these. But the Star Wars and Webbo stickers on there, which I like. Again, another unchanged livery for Team Pipe Fitness. We've seen this one as well already. And Globus in the official safety car is ready to go. And he's just not being particularly safety conscious here, which he likes to just do some drifting and mess around a little bit for our drivers. Gareth saying it's diabolical. Is that the tuxedo and jeans effect? There he is. I know he's listening. And he drifts to a finish there around the final corner. Arcane then will get the green flag with just 19 minutes to go And we go green flag racing once again. It looks like Bongit looking aggressive for a run here, making marks in the mirrors there of Astonishing. Maxwell with a little nudge, doesn't take advantage, but is certainly hot on the heels of Astonishing. Maxwell on the mediums. I think most drivers favouring the medium tyre and slightly shorter stints as a result. I think they're going to try and do 6 laps, the drivers who only just pitted, but some are going to be so marginal on fuel it's not going to work. This is going to be really, really interesting, because I think they may have either 5 or 6 laps to go. They have used fuel under the safety car, and as Gareth says, safety car being so late is going to cause chaos. Mr. Fish round the outside doesn't make the overtake work and gets sucked back into a battle with Sully. They made it through. TD says, if I ever manage to watch the ACC, they haven't been able to do my stickers. Well, I'll try and figure out a way of doing that, but I'm sure, I imagine that's impossible on ACC. On console, I don't think you can upload decals, can you? I don't know. Glovass. Seriously, dude. Quit. What is he doing? He obviously missed the pit lane, or has opted to not bother. But here he is, Arcane then, in front of the race. Dirksey not unlocking the pace at this stage, but with less fuel on board than Arcane. I think rolling the dice here, expecting it to be an 18 lapper, but Dirksey had to stop a lap earlier than Arcane, so he'll be hoping that we've extended under the safety car the race time to an extent that it will only be 18 laps here. But that is the calculation that's been made. Bongit has a full tank of fuel and can go 10 tenths here to a finish. Glovass has finally left the room. Have I ever seen an IR submitted on the safety car itself? That yeah, that was something. It's going to cause a yellow flag, said Sen. That would be the worst safety car infringement we've ever had. But there he is. He has now gone. Bongit in 3rd position. And Astonishing in 4th. Maxwell holding off our Saito for now, and should find that a little bit easier thanks to the penalty on board our Saito's car. Mr. Fish is in 7th, and I think could still be in with a hunt here of possibly even a 4th place finish. He has had prodigious speed at times. It's just keeping it controlled for the length of the stints that's been a little bit of a problem for Mr. Fish. He's moving around in the mirrors of our Saito. He's got a better exit out of the corner, heading in towards the final turn here. He's already got ahead of our Saito, and there it is. Mr. Fish ahead then into P6 as Glovass turns up to just take the comments and feedback from his safety car driving. Gareth saying some of these guys have never saved fuel, and it's showing. Look at the speed of Mr. Fish. He did fully fill the fuel tank, but can he get these tyres to an end, to the end of the race? Wow, just sneaking ahead there. I want to see that again, because Mr. Fish, I know you'd have to close your eyes or something, or squint at the car so you don't see this livery, but look at this, round the outside through turn 1, and then how close was this sweep as he went round. Look at the diffuser here against the splitter. That was beautiful stuff from Mr. Fish. Perhaps not as close from the chase cam as I had thought it was. So there you go. But I enjoyed it in the first watch, slightly less in the second. Astonishing. Looking to try and get 2 of these fake safety car chameleons on the front on the podium today, chasing down Bongit. Mr. Fish is in that 5th position. He's 3.6 seconds away from Astonishing. It would not surprise me to see drivers running out of fuel or having to stop 1 lap before the end here for a splash and dash. Zen saying such a fuel waster. People driving in 2nd gear during the safety car. Oh, I missed that. Looking at all the action, all the liveries, excuse me. Astonishing fires out of the corner with a great run here, and a Supra overtaking an Aston Martin on the straight. Needs to be believed. I mean, Bongit doesn't need to save fuel. here. He's good. Bong it to a finish. So that was just the exit of the previous corner, I think. As Arcane leads us, we now have 2 chameleons on the podium provisionally. It's a fine example of why carrying speed is important. I think referencing Astonishing there as we go through. I think Gareth just prepping his midweek review video of GTD, or at least I know he's prepping it for the GTD Pros, I'm sure, but I'm sure he'll he'll reference some of this fuel saving or not, fuel spending, I should say here. Saito driver of the day, you say at the moment, in 7th. So Mr. Fish, I don't know. I've enjoyed the chaos of Mr. Fish on this track. The just go for it, just absolute full send from Mr. Fish here, and he's got a personal best sector through the penultimate sector at this stage. I've actually enjoyed this because it has been very, very entertaining. I cannot see him getting the fuel or the tyres to a finish here at the moment. It's less than half a tank. I think he's just decided that it's not going to happen, so why not have fun out there? This is Mr. Fish. A super close look at the matte tuxedo finish for everybody who's enjoying it out there. And Mr. Fish then in that 5th place. We've got Maxwell in 6th, running the Thai driver for Amazon. Jim has a seniors discount card, so the budget isn't the issue. But everybody sipping the fuel here to save a litre or two, it seems. Maxwell, 6th position at the moment. Saito in 7th, getting Gareth's driver of the day at the moment. Jim chasing him down here. So running through lap 15 of, I think, 18, possibly 19. We'll know nearer the time, but it's going to be tight, as it was in the GTD Pro. I think with the higher lap times, I think might extend us. This is Jim trying to find a good opportunity. He's ahead of his teammate, but by a decent margin of 3.5 seconds. Aussie then holding at bay the Karate Tortoise pairing, but not for long. My apologies, Aussie. I'm going to take the full credit for that mistake. But Aussie slipping out onto the gravel and allowing a pair of tortoises through. So being the hare today, Aussie, to the tortoises who are making those moves count. Thrasher in 12th position, some distance away here, hasn't been able to hold the pace here, and in previous seasons Thrasher has been a force to be reckoned with in the 2nd division. Something's not quite right in the balance and the enjoyment of the GTR, I think, for Thrasher. Something not clicking. Maybe it's a track issue as well, potentially, but Arcane leads us by 5.4 seconds from Astonishing, who I think is still very, very close here to Dirksey. No, Astonishing has passed Dirksey. Can I catch that in the replay buffer? I cannot. My apologies. So that is Dirksey dropping down then. I think Dirksey is starting to think about that fuel and has possibly turned the engine down, or at least is trying to short shift this one to a finish. Try and get this fuel home, but he is absolutely going to be marginal. He's looking at it. There are 10 minutes remaining till the checkered flag, and so that is easily 3 more laps, but maybe even more. Let's see. As they cross the line, then Arcane will cross the line with 9 minutes and 40 to go. An Astonishing and Dirksey pit. Wow, that is a late race decision then, as does Mr. Fish. So some more fuel saving through the course of this race would have been better, obviously, for those drivers. I don't think they're even going to be able to use softs here to see out lap 18 and provisionally 19. Who's crossing the line right now? Let's have a look. This is Sully crossing the line with, I think Sully will do 18. Do 2 more laps then. know we've got better mathematicians in the live chat than I am. But Arcane, I think, will have to do a 19th lap. I'm not convinced about the rest of them. But Bongit brings himself up into second place. I think that brings Bongit into a potential Driver of the Day award. As Cormac Coper says, let's go Bongit, strategy works. Trust the process, I think, is usually the motto here when you've made a longer strategy call like this. Bongit, though, P2, and with a good gap to Saito, his teammate, in P3. So that strategy call, they're hoping to get these mediums home to an 18th lap. That's quite a big ask. Look at that front left for Saito. When they drop off a cliff, they are going to struggle in a huge way. Kamakopa saying 18 laps it will be, not a 19th. I think Arcane might have to do a 19th. So Gareth, you'd have to let me know who you're referring to. Is it everybody or just Arcane? This is Jim with a beautiful outside to inside maneuver. Down we go. Touch of lag on the car, or at least my connection to the car. But here is Jim. Outside with understeer. Jim deciding the outside line is the one to go for. And look at this cutback. Oh, smooth as you like on the way through. Beautiful stuff from Jim. I do like a cutback, an old switcheroo, as they say. And into P3 goes Jim, splitting the trolls, unfortunately for Team Universal. It's always tricky talking about how many laps and how many laps to go, because it's always more than it looks. But I think they will do lap 18 and finish, and I think Arcane might have to do a 19th lap. But let's see. As Astonishing has come out of the pits into P5. Sully has overtaken Dirksey here. So it looks like it's been a quiet one from the Karate Tortoises, but maybe living up to their name and slow and steady will produce a good result for them. Won't necessarily win the race. I stopped myself mid-phrase there. Arcane's in the pits from P1. Arcane into the pits with 27 litres of fuel on board. So can Bongit run to a finish? I wonder. Those tyres are going to be hard work, but I am really surprised at Arcane pitting. So lap 17, he will have to try and run this now to a finish to try and get the best result possible. Arcane comes out on medium tyres with just enough fuel to bring this to home. Well, maybe slightly more fuel than he needs. And now the chase is on for Arcane to pick up the win. He's got a deficit of 5.2 seconds, but we know Bongit is going to be struggling on those medium tyres to a finish. So this is going to be really tight, and Arcane will be desperate for this to go for that extra lap. But I'm not sure he will. 5.1 seconds, 4.9 seconds. There we go. Glover saying Bongit wanted to fuel save like a madman. Here is Bongit's fuel. I think it's the tyres that he's going to have to be careful of, not the fuel. But you guys know better than I do. My suspicion is, as the sun sets here at Saint Croix, that it's tyres that won't appreciate going out onto the grass and over the edge. And Arcane goes 4 wheels, I think, over the exit of the corner. Let's have a look at this from Arcane. How hard is he pushing? I think it's the next corner. So the question is, how hard do we push? And the answer, yes. As he goes beautifully out into the grass and holds on here in the Supra. Let's get that back to live action then, as Arcane then 4 minutes 50 to go on the clock. So Bongit, front left of the car, struggling like crazy. The fuel strategy is on point, but the last tyre call probably should have been hard tyres, I wonder, but we've had a big mix-up in the order. Jim in P3 has just under a quarter of a tank of fuel and might be needing to do the most fuel saving of the current top 3, and Astonishing has plenty on board then with new medium tyres. Jim's on the hards, doing what I was just talking about there. Gap to Jim here. So there you go. 7 seconds in front to Arcane. 9 to the lead, 9.8 to the lead, 0.475 to Astonishing in 4th position. So that has really upset the order like crazy. Here comes Jim now. Sorry, here comes Astonishing back to Jim in the mirrors with the lights on. Be a big distraction for Jim, who's very wide into the corner after the bridge. Very late on the brakes there, I think. And I think Jim feeling the tyres. Not as much as I'm sure Bongit is right now. 1.8 seconds is the gap at the front of the grid. This battle looks like it's going to go the way of Astonishing, who's got a better setup on the car at this stage. Running into the penultimate corner goes Astonishing. Got some close battling in the very rear of the field as well. With this one over the podium. Astonishing is famous for his patience. Lol, says Gareth. I imagine that's a joke then, or a lie. So here is Jim leading Astonishing for 3rd position on what I imagine to be the final lap of the race. Though I'm worried about Bongit having to do an extra one now. Looking at it. Yeah, they will have to do a 19th, these two. No doubt in my mind. Anyway, this is Astonishing. But they're running 3:09, 3:10 laps. So who is yet to finish? It's the people finishing, crossing the start-finish line around now. And they're still going to go again for an extra. As Gareth said, he was right on it. As Aussie in 11th. This is, so Thrasher this will be Thrasher's final lap. I'm wrong. It's going to be very, very close, as they say, as you're saying. And here is Bongit then, who has been overtaken by Arcane. I imagine that was just tyres, and Arcane out on the exit of the previous corner. Purple sector for Arcane, and gets the inside line into the next one. Nice and easy one there for Arcane then, thanks to the tyre difference. That was a 5.2 second tyre differential. So unless Bongit or Arcane do a 3:03, that's it for everyone, it says. Okay. So this is the final lap, but fuel is low for Bongit. Front left is even lower in terms of its amount of grip available. Astonishing has passed Jim, just as I'm watching the other drivers, and unfortunately we didn't quite catch it. But there you go, the better tyres, slightly better strategy. Astonishing staying on the podium here. For a while, 1-2 was on for the Chameleons. I think that gap to Bongit is sufficient to stay, for Bongit to hold that 2nd place. And Dirksey, down there in 5th place, has designs on 4th, I think. Started 3rd, Dirksey. Had 2 goes at qualifying in the right order. Mr. Fish over the apex there. Once again, Mr. Fish running 6th position. And all in all, he'd probably count that as a decent finish from a chaotic race. Our Saito is going to struggle to get this car home, and I think has had to wind the fuel mix right back to fully lean. Sully's in 8th, Maxwell in 9th here, coming through. Then is Kuroskai and Aussie. And Thrasher running on what I think to be his final lap. Anyway, well, certainly everyone's final lap now, it looks like, as we got 5 seconds to go before the checkered flag. Arcane, will he decide to hold? We have ticked over the hour, the checkered flag is out, and Arcane, with the fastest lap on the final lap, wins in Saint Croix. Brilliant finish in round 5 of the season for him. Astonishing is in 3rd. Jim and Dirksey will run side by side to the line. Here they go. It looks like Dirksey banging wheels, and he crosses the line. Dirksey by 0.06 of a second ahead of Jim. That was a difference in fuel mix, I think. The resplendently smart casual Mr. Fish in 6th gets the finish then. Our Saito trying to stay ahead of Sully here with a tiny amount of fuel on board. Our Saito across in 7th. Sully in 8th, Maxwell in 9th. The cars keep flicking over to 1st position there as they approach the line, and I'm not quite sure why. This then will be Kuroskai in 10th place. I don't know what happened there. Aussie in 11th. Kane, let's go, says Gareth. Aussie in 11th position. Arcane, one hand, very much on the trophy now, with 2 races to go, and with a drop score, has been scoring incredibly well. Aussie up there into 11th. Thrasher finishes in 12th position. Everybody on the lead lap, and it's Arcane's day here. So victory goes by way of Arcane. Pole position, clean race, ticking off everything there with the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Arcane wins for the Supra Chameleon ahead of the Aston Martin Bonget Trolls Universal Team Universal. 5.6 seconds in the end. Astonishing in 3rd place, making a 1-3 for the Chameleons, with Dirksy in 4th, Jim in 5th, Mr. Fish finishing out in 6th place. We have Saito in 7th, Sully out in 8th, in the lead of the Karate Tortoises. Maxwell returning to us as a permanent driver in 9th, and Kuros Kai in 10th. Aussie finishes 11th. Thrasher at the back of the grid. Gloas narrowly avoiding causing a yellow flag there. But thanks everybody for enjoying the race with me live, or for liking the video on your way out and doing all the good things for the channel. Thanks so much for your support. Thank you to everybody here at Deviant, and for those of you in the live chat today. What a thrill ride it's been for us here at Saint Croix. See you in a couple of weeks then for round 6 of the season 4.1. Thanks so much everybody. We will catch you on the next race day.